Back in November of 2022, one of my subscribers asked if I could do another build like my smaller Mos Eisley Cantina, and he, among other things, suggested Cloud City, which I kinda liked as an idea. So I tried to come up with a concept, then unfortunately didn't have time to continue and kinda lost interest because I really wasn't satisfied with the direction I was heading in and I didn't feel like picking it up again. Still, I kept it the way it was because I also wasn't okay with just disassembling it for some reason. That's still what I'm ultimately going to do, but first I wanted to show you what I had come up with by that time. As you can see, I overall went in the direction of the 2018 Master Builder Series Cloud City, which is a kinda cool set, and I feel that it got way more hate than it deserved, but I still understand why people might not like it. The first Cloud City from 2004 from the outside didn't quite look like Cloud City, but I suppose it was meant to be more of a collection or collage of scenes anyway. So even more of just a representation than the newer 2018 one. So yeah, that's maybe something to consider when approaching those two sets. My approach suffers from the same issues as the 2018 version, but just simply amplifying the worst aspects of everything, I suppose. But maybe there's still some inspiration in there for you, so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look around anyway. Up on the open side here, we get a part of a hallway. Everything is mostly white and cloudy looking with some art installations on the wall and a little table with drinks or some other bits and bobs. Then there's one of the fancy weird sculptures in this corner over here, which is mostly stacked transparent 1x1 round plates, so it looks like there's light coming out of there or being refracted in there. The room over here is the dining room, where our heroes encounter Darth Vader and notice that they have been indeed betrayed. You get the iconic round window and, of course, the table in the middle. But since it's so downscaled, it only has room for 3 people. In the left corner, there's also a smaller table with some drinks, and in the right corner, there's a tiny version of that Cloud City sculpture or model, which you can see in the movie and the official set. Then there are some rounded tiles in the walls to give them some texture, but that's already it for the dining room. In the hallway outside, there's a door that leads to another corridor section, and I think this is actually my favorite part of the whole model, just because of the color composition. Cloud City really has those 1970s aesthetics, futuristic, but then charmingly retro in other areas. Well, at least retro from our perspective now, but this brown and beige and nougat combination is just so great to represent that. In this corridor here, there is another door, and this one leads into a little control room, where you can put a Bespin guard or Lobot or a protocol droid. It just offers a little bit of space for play. Then we have another corridor or hallway on the outside, which leads to the next 2 sections. The red and black area is supposed to be the cell block where Han Solo gets tortured. It wouldn't be a walkthrough area, but when I built this, I hadn't yet figured out where this was supposed to go, and yeah. But if you go through it, you end up in yet another hallway, and this one leads to the more technical industrial area with the carbonite freezing chamber. There are some control panels and gauges to check stuff and to give the hallway some detailing. And here are, of course, the stairs leading up to the actual chamber. It was such a challenge to get it scaled down that much, but you can still even put in and slide out the frozen Han Solo mold. The chamber also rests on a jumper plate, so you can easily remove it, and then you get proper access to the maintenance area underneath. There are trans orange tiles for the gloomy lighting, and there are some pipes and grates or grills to make it more industrial looking, but then there's one of the 2x2 Aurebesh printed control panel tiles at the height of an Ugnaught. On top, there's a little bit of space for your Darth Vader and Luke to have their lightsaber duel, and I originally planned on building a little bridge area there too, but yeah, as I said, it's unfinished, and looking at it the way it is right now, I don't think I would have managed to actually make adding anything more on top look any good or in scale anyway. Now to the final and most unfinished part, it's the last area of Luke and Vader's fight. You can see that I built some placeholders to have a reference for what I was going to go with, and well, yeah, as you can see here, that would have been a section with a window that you can blow out, and then there's also the triangular doorway. But even in this placeholder, you can blow out the window and have Luke fly through it, where he then lands on this little walkway right here. If you flip up the doorway, you can see that I tried to represent the triangular hallway with the slope pieces and the white lights with just, well, white plates in between those masonry bricks that are used for some sci-fi texturing. Then, obviously, there's the doorway, and down here is a connection point for a Technic pin, where you can connect the bridge where Luke gets his hand cut off. Basically, everywhere else in this build, you could do the same thing and attach a landing platform for a little Slave One or a Cloud Car or a little Millennium Falcon or whatever. And speaking of Cloud Car, I tried a lot of different approaches to get the small cloud car done, but yeah, it's quite difficult. So this here is the last prototype I arrived at back then before I put it aside. It could look worse, but yeah, it's still very rough looking and kind of wonky. The nose sections are kind of fun though, because they are done with angled ball joints. There's no space for anything interesting on the inside of the cockpit, no control panels or flight sticks, and well, it's open on top, and it's kind of wide too. Yeah, so far so good. Here's the very first LEGO Cloud Car as a comparison, just so you can get a good look at both. Well, as you can also see, I obviously used dark red as a color because I didn't have enough normal red, and also the Cloud Car is kind of more like a reddish orange look, which doesn't quite exist in LEGO form, and as I said, it's a prototype anyway, so we're done with this Cloud Car, and let's move on with the minifigs. I don't have many suggestions for custom figures this time. I mean, the Cloud City Luke was kind of easy to get here in Europe because of the LEGO Star Wars magazine he came in, but you could probably use a Farm Boy Luke as well, and just look for a dark tan Rebel torso to use instead if you don't have Cloud City Luke. Darth Vader came in the shuttle and in the TIE Bomber, so it wasn't hard to get him either. And I don't know how you could make a custom Vader. I mean, just get a Vader. Stormtroopers are everywhere, so obviously getting them is not an issue either. I just used the 2014 to 2018 version here because they're just my favorite, but you could use any other Stormtrooper variant as well. Han Solo wasn't too hard to get because of the Millennium Falcon microfighter, and it's kind of difficult to substitute any of the core main cast characters. Now, Ugnaughts are a bit more tricky. I actually bought the Freezing Chamber set locally from some mom who was getting rid of a teenager's LEGO collection a few years ago, and yeah, the Ugnaughts are kind of essential for Cloud City and hard to find alternatives for because of the special head mold. Nothing else looks quite like them as far as I know, but maybe you have some suggestions. Let me know in the comments. Boba Fett came in that set as well, but I also have the version from the latest Sarlacc pit, which I also bought used a few years ago. But even the newer Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett could work, because that's probably the most easy one to get at the moment. I think, at least. Unfortunately, I don't have any Lando figure. I just temporarily gave him Finn's head and hairpiece so that he isn't just a walking neck, but obviously it's not Lando. The cape is from some other Disney trilogy set, I can't remember which one though, and the torso is from an old Western theme set that I had when I was a kid. It's a Union cavalry band. It's unmistakably a uniform, and the belt even says US, but I didn't have a better blue torso at that time, and neither a yellow one or anything else in Lando colors. Now, Lobot I got from a used Bespin Planet set that I bought from some dude in my city. I don't know what happened to poor Lobot, but he looks pretty rough. But I wasn't initially going for him anyway. I got the set for the 2 planet half-sphere pieces to use them as domes for Tatooine buildings. My yellow-headed Lobot from back in the day is actually in a better shape, so I don't know what happened, if someone chewed on his head or if they just dragged him across the street. I don't know. But yeah, let's continue. Next up, there is Leia, of course, fresh from Hoth. It's just a Rebel Trooper torso and legs, and then I also gave her the alternative outfit that she wears when they go to the dining room. I just used a spare Death Star Leia torso that I had from the Escape set. I think it was from 2018 or 2019, and I gave the torso dark red arms. Then you can just give her red legs and she should be alright. Actually, she should have a dark red torso as well, and then maybe a white cape, but I feel like it's fine if you do it like that anyway. I think the white cape came from the Disney Trilogy Y-Wing set, because, I remember the First Order Trooper wearing it. For her different hairstyles that she uses, I felt like the Rey hair works kind of well, but at least I didn't have a better fitting hairpiece anyway, so I just went with it. The Cloud Car pilot I got from the 2019 advent calendar that I, bought back in 2019, so that's kind of nice. It's a cool figure with that weird helmet, but a different white torso and maybe a Rebel Fleet Trooper helmet could work just as well to get, a custom Cloud Car pilot going. Maybe if you have a white torso and give it red arms or one red arm or something, you could get that little bit of color in there, but yeah, I don't know. The helmet makes the figure and it's just hard to replicate that. C-3PO and R2-D2 aren't hard to get either, and, let's just move on then. Because lastly, there are my 2 favorite minifigs from the whole selection right here. It's the Bespin Guard and the Silver Protocol Droid. I was extremely lucky to get these 2, actually, because someone in my city had the 2016 Advent Calendar for sale, and given that it was sealed, and by that time in 2022 it was already 6 years old, I got it for just a little over the original retail price. This guy was running out of space and was reducing his collection a bit because, yeah, I mean, we all know that struggle, right? So I told him that I was surprised at the price, and he was just like, yeah, I thought if it makes someone else happy, why not? And that it did, so thanks again, fellow A-Fall. I mean, it's just, they're both great figures, and the Bespin officer is actually hard to replicate because of the blue hat. I mean, if you have the Andor set with the security force dude, you essentially have a Bespin guard too. But if you're not too concerned with accuracy, you could just use a blue baseball cap and any other blue torso that doesn't look too out of place. I think when I was a kid, I just used this Lego town city torso and just a blue baseball cap. Or since I have the US cavalryman torso right here, I might have used the Union soldier cap that he wears. And that's actually what Lego did too in the earlier sets when they didn't yet have the special Imperial officer cap mold. But it was already after I'd entered my Dark Ages anyway, so yeah, it doesn't matter. Now the protocol droid, well, there isn't really an alternative, or at least not a good silver substitute that I could think of. So let me know if you know any better than I do, or have any good ideas on how to replicate that. But yeah, that was my draft, my prototype of a smaller Cloud City MOC in the style of my little Mos Eisley Cantina. Now it's time to take it apart and release it from its existence in limbo and in my closet, because it's just hogging a lot of useful pieces and takes up necessary space. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to know, or if you have feedback, and well, yeah, even if it's an unfinished build, I hope that I maybe could inspire you a bit to start designing and building stuff yourself, or give you some fresh ideas on what to do or how to build certain things. The same goes for the other videos on my channel. Feel free to take a look around, and maybe there's something in there that you like as well. So thank you very much for watching, and well, I hope to see you on my next video.